Coming to you from an undisclosed location in a rented lighthouse in Iceland, whose name I can't pronounce, I took my unregistered assault keyboard and decided I need to pay tribute to someone. This is the Why Man. He has a site and a Facebook page called Why Outreach. He's been a big supporter of the Question Evolution Project, my Facebook page, and also Piltdownsuperman.com, the main page that feeds into the Facebook page. And he has taken the graphics, added text, sometimes he's just flat out used his own graphics, and has done a remarkable job, and I'm appreciating his support. He'll probably be embarrassed by all this, but as they say in China, that's the breaks. Here's one of his earlier works, Amazing Machinery Works Inside Cells. He supported a cult on Facebook claiming to be creationist. It's a sacred name movement claiming to be the one true church, and they go under one of the names they go under on Facebook is Evolution is a Religion of Origins. But watch out, they will deny the Trinity, deny the name of Jesus, and insist that you use their version of the name of Jesus and the name of God. And watch out, he's been a big supporter of this project and has run this graphic a few times. Here's one where he used, for another Gilgamesh Great Flood Pretender, a comparison of Noah's Ark and a picture of one of the old tablets. And he had made a graphic cube for Question Evolution Day, the fourth annual. Here he took my graphic that I used a sign generator and did Secular Truth, Chinese restaurants, and then he put Mr. Spock on there for atheism, secularism, and lack of logic. This one is entirely his own work for morality, atrocities, and evolution, and this is really dramatic and a little bit alarming. I think it's great. I took a thing called, or a poster from World War II the Nazis had done with This is the Enemy, with a dagger through the Bible. You can see the swastika. I had done a side-by-side and put the atheist logo, one of the atheist logos on there. Same hate, different fascism. And this is on atheism and the new evolution and the new atheo-fascism. I'm going to interrupt myself for a moment. This is Uncle Pilty. This is the mascot that I made up. It came up from the original Piltdown Man image. They called it Sussex Man. So I gave it a hat, made it a modified super symbol for the chest, and called him Uncle Pilty. Now, he did a different version. He has the very same concept, gave him a different hat and a different super logo. So now he has his version of the Piltdown Superman, Uncle Pilty, and he revised his evolution and the new atheo-fascism and put one of his characters on it, and as well as Uncle Pilty and my modified poster. Here's an old one that I thought was quite good. Humanistic evolutionary indoctrination hijacks science education. That's true. Evolutionists keep hijacking science and insisting evolution is science. So they pull the bait and switch and say, if you don't believe in evolution, you are a science denier. Very sneaky, very disingenuous. So the British Humanist Association is pulling this stunt, and this is one of his early works, and then he redid it with Uncle Pilty and repositioned everything. Same characters, but a little bit more powerful, I think. A simple one was standing firm for creation science despite opposition, holding up the fist. That was pretty good, but then he turned into the Uncle Pilty, and if you look close, it's Uncle Pilty's face on the image holding up the fist. Microscopic machinery is at work in you, and Uncle Pilty is holding a wrench, which is ironic because here in the US that kind of thing is called a monkey wrench. Answering the fool about God and evolution gave him the jester's cap. I think some of his things have actually made me LOL. Here's one of his scientist-type characters. I don't think he actually has a name for this. And the character again about the scientist, are scientists objective and honest? I had a guest post from Raven. Literal Genesis phobia. Raven made up a phobia because Raven studies psychology and is completing a master's, I believe. And it was just easy to crank out some kind of a condition. And that was demonstrated quite well. And one of my best posts is something I didn't write. And so we have the scientist, the sad face, and some science on the blackboard. Bill Nye, who has been very dishonest, is a symptom of a deeper problem. That was one of my posts, and he extended the nose from one of the famous images of Nye, and you can see the cube for the Question Evolution Day 4th Annual. By the way, that's on February 12th. This is one of my favorites. Charlie Darwin and the Fudge Factory. Evolutionists will fudge the data when it doesn't fit with their preconceptions and if there is evidence that contradicts them. Here we have Charlie Darwin in the Willy Wonka factory outfit. And if you look closely at some of the characters in the background, I'm sure that some atheist evolutionists would be quite angry. And notice that Uncle Pilty is holding the golden ticket. I thought these were just great touches. Here's one of my favorites that I used a picture from a site that most of my pictures come from things that are free to use, free to share. I even give credit even when I don't have to, or I'll get them from U.S. government sites where the things are not copyrighted and they're public domain. So I made a comic speech balloon on this. Most of my work has been left alone, but you can still see the Piltdown Superman mascot. Creation, science, and impact craters. If you look closely, it took me a while to figure this out, and I think somebody actually had to explain it in a comment, that he's holding some cheese that looks like the moon. DNA, information, and storage. People are actually looking into the possibility of using DNA to store information. I used a graphic from, I think this is Univac, one of the oldest computers, and touched it up with a DNA symbol. He put some more DNA symbols on the side, and look what Uncle Pilty is holding. It's a floppy disk. And I don't know how many you people are old enough to remember those things, but I used them. This one's just plain scary. I did a post, I've done several posts over at Radar Active, and this one's about extreme environmentalism. This one's very disturbing. It's got nothing to do with any of my graphics, but it has a strong impact. By the way, I want to add that my graphics for the site, I don't want it to be slowed down, so I try to keep them somewhere around 100 kilobytes or less for the most part. And so when he can do this for his Facebook page, that's not going to slow anything down. Those are just take it as it comes. For fear of quantum physics. This one's nothing to do with my graphics, but you can see a cat in a box. Quantum physics, Schrodinger's cat. And the science blackboard and that sort of thing. I was pretty impressed with that one. Here's another one to be annoying to some of the evolutionists. I used another free-to-use image, and he put in the chimpanzee of Clinton Richard Dawkins and put a Darwin face on one of the other critters and gave Uncle Pilty a tail to be pinning on something. This image on the top I had used before, and then I had reused it because they picked it up at Creation Ministries International and used my image there, and I was quite flattered. In this version of it, Wyman has added the force, the coercion with the gun, and the Uncle Pilty in the water. Quite involved. I wish I had this kind of skill. I could touch up things, but I don't really have a lot of skill myself. That's why I use generators and things. This one is a bit of an inside joke. The lead-eye jaw and missing link monkey shines. When the original site that I had linked to had posted lead-eye jaw, they had people that were commenting, I thought it was Jedi law. And that's what I read too at first. And so Uncle Pilty's holding a lightsaber. Radiometric dating and reason. This one from Institute for Creation Research that I linked to had the heavy metals. Now, I had used just some lame heavy metal guitar on there on my graphic. So he did a completely new graphic, and the Piltdown Superman mascot is holding a metal guitar. Nicely done. Luddites. That was an old term for people who were afraid of technology and machinery and change, and supposedly that they went around destroying machinery because they were afraid of losing their jobs and their livelihoods. And I came up with the concept that evolutionists are the Luddites because they resist change and cling to their paradigms because they will not be facing the facts when all of the evidence refutes evolution and shows that they are just not being realistic. So they are trying to deny science themselves, so evolutionists are the real Luddites. And did you notice Darwin's face on the guy with the hammer? I couldn't think of anything good for my original, so I just used a sign generator for this dry erase board. Wyman put, because it's about God of the Gaps, Uncle Pilty is wearing a Gap t-shirt to go with those stores that are in a lot of American malls, and a graphic at the top that I had never seen before and like to see a bigger version sometime. This one's involved. I used another sign generator, and I was kind of pleased with it. With the Wizard and Evolutionary Science Zone. Magical Mystery Evolutionary Explanations for the Cambrian Explosion. Or, according to some people, Cambrian. Or is that a shirt, according to Scarborough Fair? I'm being silly. This image for Dinosaur Egg Colors Defy Long Age Beliefs was a stock photo on a government site. And I didn't have the new ones and didn't want to risk copyright infringement, so I used what was available. So he used my image and gave Uncle Pilty a little pet. I thought was real cute. And again, this is one that I'd missed until somebody made a comment on it. Diamonds are not supposed to have carbon-14. they're supposedly a billion years old or thereabouts. So once they weren't even tested. Oh, we're just assuming diamonds don't have carbon-14. So once they finally got diamonds tested, they have carbon-14. The half-life doesn't work. So it's not supposed to be there. They're not that old. And the mascot is wearing a diamond ring. I used another generator, meme generator for this. Batman and Robin from the 1960s television series. And I'm implying that somebody is annoying Batman by calling him up and asking him trivial questions instead of looking it up. And Uncle Pilty is a sort of Batman now. This one, the Piltdown facepalm. Piltdown Superman facepalms, and you know someone said something boneheaded. I don't know how he did this, but he got that hand up there to do a sort of a facepalm. And that's to prepare you for this one. He's doing a facepalm because evolutionists are still insisting on bringing back that Miller-Urey experiment where they're claiming that proved that life could originate without God. No, all they got were a few amino acids and they didn't get the right sequence. Plus they cheated by putting in a trap to take out the amino acids so they wouldn't be destroyed by the environment. So the whole experiment is fraud, but they still bring it back and try to prop it back up again. Science business without God, they're living up to their worldviews when they cheat and use fraudulent things. So Uncle Pilty's joining in a toast on this one. DiCaprio, isn't it? Sea urchins. Now you see the one in his mouth because in my introduction to the article I had put that some people actually eat the things. So I guess he's developed a taste for them. Lizard worms. That's another stock photo that I used and he had adapted. And Uncle Pilty seems to know what some people like to do with worms because he's got the fishing pole. Now, whenever Derek Gilbert's View from the Bunker comes on with something good, Y-Man will have this image and put some of the various things in there. And he put my latest interview with Derek in there, which I was quite pleased with. But I do not understand the little food dish thing. Somebody needs to explain that to me because sometimes I'm a little thick. Here's one that's really involved. Evolutionists make claims, but they're actually standing on the creationist worldview. I'm not going to take the time to explain that. It's in the article, so you can do a search for that unfortunately long title. My graphic is the little one with the what they call a scheming evil child or something. And he added another graphic with several atheist books. So this is going to be enough, I think. This could have been quite a bit longer because I have about 190 of those illustrations. Okay, it's time to wrap this up. The lighthouse rent is going to be due for another hour if I don't get out of here. So I hope you liked it. I was impressed and amused and flattered at the efforts that Y-Men used to help support the Question Evolution Project and PiltdownSuperman.com. So I hope you'll stop by and visit both of us. I don't think I said this before, but Y-Man has a strong emphasis on end times prophecy, and he supports creation science, obviously. So I recommend that you check it out.